And first off, you don't confront the lion when you're a cub like they're doing. And remember, some of us come from areas where, in order to be a man, you had to kill a lion at 13 years old. So you are rougher than that lion, and you are challenging a grown man. You're going to get knocked out, hurt, or whatever. And I can see some of these guys pulling their punches when they do what they do. But that kind of thing goes on. And the other point is you go in to a HBCU and you see another phenomenon. I remember going in one when it first started dawning on me that was something wrong, and I was supposed to speak. I said, "Well, where are the brothers?"
Mm-hmm.
The faculty member said, "Judge, this is just about 100% or 98% of the male population at this college." I said, "Well, where are the guys? This is it." He says, "We don't have any." It says we are getting very, very few. Now, I looked and I found out that basically all ethnicities
Mm-hmm.
in America right now and for the last 20 some years of this century, on average, there are 2 to 3 female undergrads for every male undergrad. It actually is about 60. Well, let's put it this way. Males are only 32% of the American undergrad student body.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically 68 to 70% of the student body is female. And when you get at HBCUs, it's been even worse. You get 80, 90% of the student body is female. And then the other thing is a lot of the student body isn't even black. I said that earlier.
Right, that you have other than black enrolling into HBCUs and getting full scholarships because they have the grades. This
Kamala Harris at Howard. That's been going on for quite a few years.
exactly. And she said her mother raised her and her sister as African American, well, black Americans, not as to
How you
identify that way. So,
gonna be born in India Hindu and raise somebody as black Americans unless you're trying to take the stereotypes you see on TV or on the big screen.
well, let me also say this going back to
And in Canada too, that's not exactly the haven of
right.
black.
Well, right. Let me just go back to the presence of black men on these HBCUs campuses, which is very important. When you have Deion Sanders, Ed Reed, and I'm pretty sure that it would have been more to come, right? That they would have been interested in doing this. Not only, it's not about a lot of times winning. You had the football team of Bethune-Cookman writing a letter to the president, to the boards of directors saying, reinstate this man. We want him here. And these are the people that are paying.
Mm-hmm.
It is important to have a black man presence to not only teach
Mm-hmm.
football,
But they don't
to
want it.
exactly. So
Look
it's
at
so
the
much
guys.
deeper than what the comments that he said
Yeah, and look at the guy's
about the school.
presentation. That is not how the oh, Thomas, what do you think of our coach? Oh my God. Um, Jamal, don't you think it's a little excessive? Oh, Susan, Timidika, what do you think? And you see, that kind of presentation, I can understand half of his problems with that faculty.
Now, wait. Now, and if you look, so Deion going to Colorado, oh, they're rolling out the red carpet. Not rolling out the red carpet. They're basically saying whatever changes you want to make, do so.
Yeah, now, let me say what he's doing. He's breaking some ice. One of the things, I played football at UCLA. We had some racist named Prothrow who was from Tennessee. And honest to God, that was just the pits. I said, I have better things to do. And they had more black folk on UCLA's football team in 1936 than they did in 1965, 6, 7, and 8 at UCLA. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
What happens is you open doors. One of the people in UCLA's backfield, Kenny Washington, was the first black to play in the NFL. He played for the Rams. Then they hired Woody Strode, who became an actor with the Rams the year following. Year after that, and this is how it applies to this, they hired two people, Deacon Dan Towler, not to be confused with Deacon Jones on the end for the Ram 20 some years later, but Deacon Dan Towler and Tank Younger, who were out of Grambling, who were the first black folk ever brought
Mm-hmm.
NFL from an HBCU, and that opened the doors. And now you have a lot of pros who came out of those institutions. So you have to open the doors. And I'm looking at this excellent coach opening the door to get more black coaches
Mm-hmm.
into the big leagues like Jackie Robinson did for baseball, Don Barksdale did for basketball. He played for the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
They were Minnesota Lakers, and Kenny Washington
Right.
for the
So
Rams.
with
And
that, when you get people, when you open up doors to have access to get in, the purpose of getting in is this, then you want to end up building relationships and networking with corporate. These are people that are going to bring in money, you know what I'm saying, for whatever program for the university or outside university. The same format that Deion Sanders was doing for Jackson State, that Ed Reed was going to do for Bethune-Cookman, would have opened the doors for other athletes to come in and do
yeah,
for those black people. We're bringing in money, and not just for the football, but all together, showing you how to elevate. But
yeah. Look at
yeah.
me. I was the first black prosecutor for the city of Memphis. Now they have a whole bunch of black prosecutors around here. Ben Hooks got appointed as criminal court judge thanks to H.T. Lockett, who became later a criminal court judge and one of my mentors, and I knew both of them pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got 60 some percent of the criminal court judges in Memphis are black.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, 60% of the criminal court judges are also female
Mm-hmm.
in Memphis right now. You had Carolyn Blackett, who became the first uh, who came in and
Mm-hmm.
had that position. So you get these things where a
Mm-hmm.
step at a time, and when you want to be inclusive, it is what it is. Now, I hear people right now say the problem is it's just us in the justice system. Well, the sheriff in Memphis, Shelby County, is black. You could have had a black DA me, but the voting machines were corrupt. Now we have a new DA for the first time who's outside of the circle.
Mm-hmm.
You've got 60% of the criminal court judges are black. You pick voters from the voting rolls, but only 19.1% of the city registered voters are white, and only 28% in the county are white. So the majority of the pool from which you draw black jurors, well, jurors are black. So you should have that. And what's going on with this picture here when somebody says justice is just us? Well, the majority of the police department is black. And
Mm-hmm.
even though we just had another scene down here, the 5 who were discharged not only were black officers, they were young black officers, under 35, under 32, under 30. So the dynamic shifting. So maybe we need to start taking a closer look at what the problems are and what the solutions are, besides just saying it's got to do with race. But this is part of the whole thing of, if you live here and there's no separate state for you here,
Mm-hmm.
then what is there when you get to talking about isolation?
I
Now,
want to I want to play
that
this.
is not going to work right now, because we aren't that high up on the minority scale anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We're no longer the largest minority in the country.
Right. That's a great point. Great point. I want to play this last clip and then I want to go into the DeSantis. Just revisit that quickly before Mrs. Felicia Pendergrass comes up.
Man, there's no security for these young women and men. I'm not trying to bash the school. We were picking up trash when I was screen recorded. I didn't post that. Somebody screen recorded me and put that out there because they said I was mutting the school. I'm not mutting the school. We're picking up trash. At the time, you telling me I'm mutting the school. I'm on the ground grabbing trash from under trees behind bushes because my football team was acting too cute. Don't interview me. Interview them kids. Interview the team. Interview these young women and men. I'm not here for, man, I got a 14-year-old son who I've been missing his stuff for 3 weeks. I'm tired, man. This is exhausting, man. They lying on me, man. Why lie on me, man, to save your face, man? Because you're doing something wrong.
I like the dialogue, the art of dialogue.
Well, he's running into a reality. I see that in Memphis. I've seen it for years. You always got some colored house Negroes, house boy, house girl type, third floor type, who are always trying to take down everybody that's actually trying to do right because it infringes on what they've been doing, their little niche of being useless and basically servile little creatures. So, you know, you get a real man coming in there trying to do something. And first off, one, it's against the feminine thing these days, feminist thing. And two, black men are supposed to step back. And three, keep their mouth shut. And four, be glad that they have a little isolated, segregated niche to fit into instead of saying, hey, I can deal with the whole world.
Right.
So what are you doing here? But same old, welcome to the world, young brother, because he's young to me. And I understand exactly what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. He's coming in with a different kind of presentation. And what he's presenting as scares the hell out of most of these folks. Oh, my God, Chucky.
And he ain't scaring the white folks. He's scaring those. God. Right. He's scaring those our kind of people, black folk.
Oh, Thomas, you need to tuck your shirt in. You didn't tuck it all the way in when you had to pull your pants back up.
Don't judge him, Joe Brown.